MedBix webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hey, welcome to the MedBreaks webcast. This is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the host of the MedBreaks. So, happy Valentine's Day to all beautiful women, all women, including my daughter who got married recently. So, the Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. It's not just a love and gratitude. My podcast is successful because of the lot of support from women. I mentioned in my post there are quite a number of women that they really helped me to accelerate this podcast presence. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I can mention a few names. My daughter, hey, Lena. Then happy Valentine's Day. Then Diana Landonio, she is a urologist, board certified urologist from Los Angeles. She was the first one. She gave me a lot of tips how to look good on. She is a natural beauty, but I can how to play around with the camera. She gave me a lot of tips. Then Manju Dawkins and Amriti, quite a number of people. But the most of all, thank you, Jennifer Niemeyer. She was there the entire journey for me. She followed me for a long time. Thank you, Jennifer. You're a sweetheart. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you a doctor from my hometown, Hyderabad. Hyderabad became a hometown. Actually, I'm from a small village in India, coastal Andhra Pradesh. It is a 2,000 population. We never had cancer during the time, and I don't even know if we heard a little bit about it, but we don't know who the cancer specialists are. I grew up in a small rural village. There is no electricity. There is no running water. There is no hospital, no doctor. My father is a doctor there, village doctor. That's all. He's not a MBBS doctor. He's like a compounder, they call him. So like a registered nurse or private PA. So it's actually now what I understood from a lot of statistics are showing India is cancer is growing in India because their lifestyle is changed. People are sitting on the computer, and then they used to work in the farms. I'm from a small village. Farming is the main breadwinners there. So people are not working like before. They're sitting in front of the camera in the computers, and then call centers and all those things, and then also processed food is quite a bit. We used to go to every market every Monday, Wednesday, and pick up the vegetables and everything, but not anymore. So the cancer is India used to be the last, is not below average, the global average to, they say that age-adjusted age, because cancer is a old people disease, the age-adjusted disease. So if you compare that, we are below average. Now we are catching up. It's growing last few years. Actually, cancer is growing in an alarming rate. So there is a lot of doctors now trained. Now India progressed quite a bit. And I left India when I was a kid. So there's a doctor, I'm going to talk with him from my hometown. His name is Dr. Gautham Reddy. He is a oncologist, a radiation oncologist and medical oncologist both. He was saying, we'll talk with him, what are the challenges they face, the patients face, doctors face, and the whole system face. That we can talk about that. After that, I'm going to present a topic on, when I was growing up, there is not much of our equipment. A lot of times you don't need a, the people who invented this, who got the Nobel Prizes, they have a least amount of equipment at that time, but they won the Nobel Prize. Low resource settings, you can win the Nobel Prize. Science is that powerful. You can sit down in the kitchen. You can create wonders. That's some of the scientists that I'm going to talk about that. In fact, so So the solutions are always around us. There is always solution exists within the given resources. So without a further ado, I'm going to bring a Dr. Gautham Reddy. He's an MBBS from India, MBBS they call, and then he did a board certification in the radiation oncology and medical oncology, and he did quite a bit of studies. Let me bring him to the table. Um, Dr. Dr. Gautham Reddy, welcome to the MedBix webcast.
Namaste, sir. Thanks for the opportunity, Ramana, sir. Uh,
You don't have to call me sir. You are the doctor. You're saving lives. I'm not saving lives. But
yeah.
let me ask you. Give me your background a little bit. What is your educational and professional
So,
background? A little bit.
I am Dr. KC Gautham Reddy. I'm from Nalgonda. It's 100 kilometers away from Hyderabad. I did my MBBS and internship from Usmania Medical College. I came from 07 batch. Then followed by I did my radiation oncology residency at Yashoda Hospital. I did my senior residency at Regional Cancer Center, Hyderabad. Later on, I worked for 1 year at Kim's BB Cancer Center in Malakpet, and then I also did my double residency in medical oncology from Pasvatarakam Indo-American Cancer Hospital. Later on, then I joined Karkinos. Right now, I am working at Amor Hospitals, which is in Balanagar, Kukatpally. Uh,
Interesting. So you're
so, along with this one, I did my family medicine degree from CMC Vellore and pain medicine from Apollo distance as a part of distance education.
Oh, it's
This
interesting.
one,
You have quite impressive credentials, Dr.
yeah.
Reddy. I want to ask you. That you're from a small. You said that Nalgonda. Nalgonda is not a big, as I know, if I remember, is not a big city like Hyderabad. So there is a lot of people that they go through this kind of thing. How do you get a patient? If you get a patient from a small village, can you run through a journey through a cancer patient? How do a local doctor suspects a cancer? What is the next step? He's going to send it to you, the patient. Can you run down the little bit of journey of a patient from a patient point of view?
Yeah, definitely, sir. So right now, because the screening systems are not so efficient in our country, most of the cancer cases are patients' own detected cancers. There are few public health campaigning campaigns running all over the state, but they are not so effective. So most of the times, patient will present with us in a very advanced stage. Breast, they present with a huge lump which infiltrates the skin. Oral cavity, we find an ulcer, he'll be presenting with pain. And these are about the visible organs or visible cancers. And when we look into colon and gastric cancers, they usually present with dyspepsia or constipation or something. Unfortunately, we are not seeing those early stages of cancer, which are T1 and T2. We as a doctors only see very advanced cancers, T3, T4 in India. They usually go and check up with a local doctor who is at their own village, a registered medical practitioner, or a quack that is present at the village. Later on, they move to a bigger city where biopsy will be done, but most of the time those biopsies are not conclusive. There on, the referral system starts. They will be referred to a higher cancer center. So
So the
in this
patient
higher
comes to
center,
you. Patient comes to you. They refer to you. What do you do? What are the steps you do after that?
so we do the first thing that we need confirmation of the cancer diagnosis. We do a biopsies. A biopsy will give us the histopathological information. Once we get a histopathological information, we stage the cancer. We stage the cancer with radiological imaging. We do a if PET CT is available and the patient is affordable, we'll go for a PET CT scan. This will give us an idea of what is the disease, what kind of histopathology it has, and what is the stage of the disease. Once we know the histopathology and stage of the disease, we'll be treating the patient accordingly. Usually, early stage cancers, surgery can be done except the hematolymphoid and all other diseases. So solid tumors, early stage cancers, we go for surgery. A little bit of advanced stage 2 or stage 3. Right now the concept is doing a neoadjuvant chemotherapy followed by surgery so that we can do maximum tumor debulking, and we can control the micrometastasis. Post surgery, we have we will supplement the surgery with adjuvant radiation therapy in most of the cases. There are few
More,
cancers like head and neck, larynx, where mm, chemo radiation plays a very major role. This is the background. Radiation we use basically for cervical cancer, which is the main contributor in our country for the total number of cancer patients, as a radical
okay. Yeah.
as a radical therapy.
Okay. So that's why I'm going to come back to the next point. What kind of cancers are in general more prevalent in India?
Yeah. So in India, when I'm going according to the body order from the top of the body to the bottom of the body. Head and neck cancer, especially oral cavity cancers, are very common. Lung cancer is common. Cervical cancer is common. Breast cancer, cervical cancer, and esophageal cancers. These are the most common cancers in our country right now.
So let us
This
talk. Let us talk about the smoking, lung cancer. Is it a lot of smoking because of the directly related to smoking? There's a people take tobacco and they chew tobacco and all those things, right? In India, is it that is a bigger chunk of the cancers?
Yeah. Tobacco consumption in our India is mostly through oral route, where rather than smoking, they use pan, gutka, kaini. The carcinogens are mostly deposited on oral cavity. What happens is lung cancer has a lot of incubation time, if my term is correct. It takes a longer time
Yeah.
to develop into a cancer, but whereas head and neck cancers, the tobacco causing it will cause head and neck cancer first, then it causes lung cancer. That's the reason we see head and neck oral cavity cancer in a younger age groups, somewhere around 30 to 40,
Oh
in
my
all
God.
these tobacco consumers. Lung
Uh-huh.
cancer is this oral cavity tobacco, oral tobacco consumption contributing to lung cancer doesn't happen, because these patients are more likely to get cancer at an age younger than the lung cancer incidence rates. Lung cancer, yes, it is more, especially in the Singareni belt, the coal mine belt that is present in Telangana
Yeah.
and the Telangana
Yeah,
region.
because the Singareni coal mines are
Singareni
close
coal
by.
mines and all those things.
Yeah, yeah. There is a
We are
call in
also,
this
yeah,
country. There is a,
we are also seeing this non-smoke related, non-tobacco related lung cancers also at a higher phase in the recent times.
yeah,
Reasons are multifactorial, and
yeah.
there are many factors.
Right.
There is general trend of raise in the cancers in the country. I'm very uh, I'm not so happy with that one. I'm very this is disgusting, because after becoming an oncologist, I myself see many of my friends and relatives suddenly having these cancer diagnoses popped up. Very unfortunate trend. One reason why we are facing a more, but we are facing this high burden. In fact, this is the trend without any proper statistics. So
Hmm.
cancer registration, disease notifications are not so proper in the country. In fact, they are less than optimal. I could say it is just 30% optimal. So
Even now, cancer registration is not a.
it's not optimal.
All.
Now think about when all the cancer registered, you think about the statistics, it will be mind blowing.
Hmm.
The reason is usually this every country will pass through an industrialization age, one, so where non-communicable diseases will be more, then there will be communicable diseases and all those things. The problem is we are facing both the burdens at a time. We are facing two Indias, where we see a developed country where non-communicable diseases, these lifestyle diseases come. Along with that one, we see diseases which are associated with tobacco, and we also see diseases that are associated with poverty and infection. So we
Hmm.
bear the burden of cervical cancer, we bear the burden of prostate cancer, we bear the burden of head and neck cancer, tobacco related. Cumulated, it has become very, the burden has become more, and resources are there, but resources are not
Not
sequenced in a way which will cause the maximum output to the patient.
the workflow is not there. So let us
The
talk
work.
about poverty that you mentioned. The poverty. What is the resources available a person from a small village, Nalgonda district, for example, a small village has no resources. A rickshawala or somebody is extremely poor. How if they get treated, if he get diagnosed with cancer, what is his journey and how the financial structure there? Did the government takes care of them, or what is the situation for them?
Yeah, government takes care about the treatment part because we have Arogyasri scheme in both the states. Quite a few hospitals do have Arogyasri scheme. One is the regional cancer center that is present in Hyderabad, then the Basavatarakam hospital that is present in mm, Banjara Hills. The problem is not the treatment because cancer treatment doesn't include only treating the patient with surgery, radiation, or chemotherapy. It's a much beyond thing. There is rehabilitation, there is psychosocial support, there is toxicity management, and all those things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in our country, treatment-related toxic deaths account to be 30% of cancer deaths. And if you say like people
Well,
die more
repeat that. What do you mean by that? Treatment-related toxicity. Explain that a
death
little bit for us.
death due to treatment related toxicity accounts to 30%.
Really? Just
Yeah,
explain that a little bit to
yeah.
us.
See, most of the people, like I'll just give you a typical example. So a patient undergoes surgery in a bad nutritional state of his because of his bad nutritional condition. So he can't tolerate the surgery. He will develop the complication. He will develop infection post surgery. The risk of him dying of a surgical complication is more when compared to him of dying of cancer. That's the reason in our country lot of alternate forms have arised, Ayurveda, homeopathy, because the treatments are less aggressive. The patients will live longer. When comes to the modern medicine part, there is no support system. The support system, I'm saying, not there, its support system is weak, where we can supplement him with all the kind of supports when he undergoes a major surgical process.
Dr. Reddy, you're medically trained. You're saying that Ayurveda and natural things are also better. Am I hearing you right in that sense?
No, sir, I'm not saying Ayurveda
Mm.
natural things are better. Please don't take me wrong.
Yeah,
What
okay.
I'm saying is treatment related toxicity due to
Is
modern science is causing much more harm to patients in our country. And to manage this treatment related toxicity, we need to create a supporting structure.
Yeah, that is not a
This,
natural toxicity. It's a basically there's not a proper lack of infrastructure,
yes,
not there,
yes,
that
yes,
causing all
yes,
these problems rather
yes,
than
yes,
this
yes,
the cancer
yes,
deaths, right?
yes.
So particularly, let us talk about, because today Valentine's Day. Let us talk about the breast cancer. How prevalent is now in the villages? You do you see a lot of people from villages or small poor neighborhoods?
Yes, sir. We see a lot of breast cancers in poor economic strata people also. And unfortunately, these patients will come with a larger metastatic disease rather than a screened population that we usually find in upper middle class due to lack of awareness regarding cancers.
Dr. Reddy, you started a cancer shield. Just you saw that a person comes to your office and then it is a devastation diagnosis. Cancer diagnosis is not fun, is not a small thing. Everybody, it's a big thing. So the entire family gets affected, entire society gets affected, all the friends and families. So what are the support system they have in India in general, and what you are doing personally that yourself you're doing in this direction?
Cancer Shield, we started along with my wife, who is a gynecologist, more because right now we are aware.
But before that, before Cancer Shield, I want to ask you: are there any support systems, support groups? Are they prevalent in India? Are not much of a aware people aware about that? Any kind of a support system there? Besides, I'll talk with the Cancer Shield. But are there any systems in place for the support groups?
Right now, I'm not. There is a support group called Gen Onco. Right now, we because that's a phase. They start with the treatment, then they understand the treatment toxicity. This is a phase where support groups arise, and Cancer Shield is one of them. There are few other support groups like Gen Onco and all those things, which I'm not aware of. See, it's a very support group is something. It's a very uh,
New
not
kind
so
of thing
common.
in the India. It's a new
Yeah,
kind of thing, right? In
it's a new
India.
point of thing. It's a
So
new
tell us
point.
what you do in a Cancer Shield.
Yes, a Cancer Shield I started very recently along with my wife, who is a gynecologist. So the point of Cancer Shield is I wanted to reduce the treatment related toxicity part in cancer patients in our country. The problem with Indian cancer patients is Indian cancer patients are very different when compared to the Western cancer patients. Their BSAs, body surface areas, are less, their BMIs are less, the etiologies are different. So we can't just apply the principles of West, where the modern science has taken, modern medicine has emerged from, and apply it as a guideline to Indian cancer patients. For example, we are Western cancer treatments is based upon genomics, the genomic data. How does it done? We can't apply the genomic data in our country, because we don't the patients are not affordable for the genomic data. And the doses of chemotherapy in the West are different. They give, for example, I recently treated in diffuse large B cell lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, with 80% of the dose, with 80% of the dose that was given in the Western countries, and patient developed severe febrile neutropenia. I lost a patient due to sepsis, febrile neutropenia related sepsis, rather than the disease. So this is very disheartening. So the reason for this is this thing happened when I was doing my residency. The reason for this is due to, because we are dealing huge chunks of population. While a doctor in US deals at most 5 to 6 patients a day, or more, we deal some 40 to 50 patients coming into us like a general OPD, and we rush the treatments so rapidly, which is causing the damage. Treatment related toxicities are more.
Okay,
So
I may have a little strange problem here, a technical problem.
yeah,
What I do is, if I'm a turn off, I'm going to go into uh, just a 1 second, if I can, yeah. So I'm going to join there, and then in case if that is there, I will switch to other camera. Just give me 1 second, sir. Okay.
no issues, sir, no issues.
Okay. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Sorry. That is, I don't know what happened. Just 1 second. Talking. Just a minute. I'm having a little problem, technical problem. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? You are
Yes,
getting
sir.
echo? Are you getting an echo or anything like that?
No, sir. I'm not having any audio
Audio problem.
disturbance.
Excellent. Okay. No, you made an excellent point. The point you're making was that one of the points you were making is that the Western clinical trials that we do here in the United States or Western world may not exactly fit into the Indian model. They design the drugs based on the genomic data and other factors in this country. They eat a lot of beef, they eat a lot of meat. There's a lot of other factors involved in the clinical trials. So even in this country, there's a big debate about the diversity about the clinical trials. So people should think about the point you're making. The diversity in the clinical trials is a very important. The drugs, the everything may not exactly work in Indian situation. Explain that a little bit, Dr. Reddy.
Yeah. So regarding the treatment systems, we can't apply the treatment regimens that are designed in the West exactly point to point in Indian people. The more, if we try to impose it, we find lot of treatment related toxicity.
Mhm.
We can't give 100% of doses when compared when talking about the chemotherapy doses to Indian people, because we do that one, we will the patient will be dying of the therapy complications rather than the disease itself. Regarding the radiation doses, regarding the radiation therapy, the support system the patient gets during the radiation therapy, especially the nutritional part and the rehabilitation parts, are not available in the country, and those systems should be developed in our country for the better service of the patients and all those things.
Right.
So these are the
Excellent.
few points. These are the few points I just to make, and they have to be pulled to the clinicians in a. They have to be integrated to the clinician part, and it should
I
be a
think
workflow. Workflow should be designed and should be implemented for the better service of the patient.
I strongly advise, I will strongly think that American pharmaceutical companies should strongly consider that your system of, they include people like you to really people that coming from the poor rural areas, poor neighborhoods, and then use as a clinical trial as an excellent idea. Pharmaceutical companies use your system of to expand the diversity part of it. So let me. I'm going to. So this is after that. If your wife is available, she's started a cancer shield. If she's available, she could come and say hello to us. That's a great idea. In fact, but I think that is a great. Good. You have a good intentions. You're really passionate about it. I can see that. That's why I one of the people that I was interested in talking with you. That let me once you come back, I'm going to present the topics that you said that infrastructure is a one thing, but it's also genuine passion is important. The first thing is the passion. All the scientists that came out from the passion that they invented so many things with the low resources, with the lack of infrastructure. They did a lot of things. I'm going to present the topic. Few minutes after that, I come back and I will ask you your address and your contact information, and then how do you what are your things and how can we improve your cancer? How the America can help people like you in the expand your outreach. Okay, so let me present you my thing here. That so can you put in the mute? There's a noise coming back. Whenever
Yeah.
you talk, you can put. Yeah, that's. This is the about the Nobel Prizes I'm going to present. I'm going to bring both of us in the bottom, so both we can see each other. That. Let us see. Okay, that ready. I want your camera. No. Don't. I want you to. You can. Yeah, that's good. You can listen to that. Okay, now let's go to the fun part of it that I'm doing. So this is the Nobel Prize winners in the nominees. I'm going to talk about it, how the India during this time. So the first one I'm going to talk about Venki Ramakrishnan, Venkataraman Ramakrishnan. My name is Venkataraman actually, Venkataraman Ramana, his name. So part of his name I got it, but I'm not as smart as him. He was born in Chidambaram, Tamil Nadu. He got the Nobel Prize in 2009 for the ribosome structure, the large and complex molecule ribosome structure. That was he gave the atomic structure of the ribosome. He won the Nobel Prize for the chemistry. So what is that ribosome structure does? Let me give you what is a ribosome is. Ribosome is a large molecule and it has some small molecules inside together. It's a complex molecule, and it is in the cell, within the cell. It produces proteins. That's it. It spits out the proteins, and proteins are the hard workers of the body. Yeah. So I have to switch to this one. So that's the reason yeah. That's sorry about that. So this is okay. Now that's why I got a problem here that I'm going to yeah. Okay, this is let me take it out. This all of a sudden I got a power problem. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, what I did, I put the wrong one. Let me see. Just a second. I'm a little today technical problem I have today. Okay. So ribosome structure is the hemoglobin is a red cell protein is produces ribosome produces the protein, that is the one. Then if you go to the, so can you hear me, Dr. Reddy? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. I can hear you.
Dr. Reddy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
You can't hear me. Oh my God. What was the problem?
I can
Oh.
hear you, sir. I can hear you.
Um, Dr. Reddy, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can't
Yes,
hear
sir. I
me.
can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me. Put in the mute, I think. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, just let me some problem. All of a sudden, my I hope you all can hear me. Let me. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go. It is live. It's recording, but let me take it out. This. Okay. So the ribosome structure. This is the. Let me keep going and then see if it works or not. The ribosome structure is the actually what it does is ribosome saved us from the COVID because it has a RNA molecule. It took it RNA from the spike protein. What they did was they gave it to the ribosome. Ribosome produces it's a synthesized synthase to the produces the proteins. So it produces spike protein, a fake spike protein. It's not a real protein, spike protein. Otherwise, it will cause a COVID for us. So it is a remodified fake protein, and then they gave it to the patients. What they did was the vaccine, Pfizer and Moderna. What they did is they took a RNA strand of the spike protein and give it to the ribosome. What the ribosome does is produces the proteins. It produces spike protein, a fake protein. Immediately, the immune system recognizes it, and then immediately immune system attacks that proteins if they in the future if the real one comes. So you're training the immune system to do the process. So that's what he did in the but atomic what Venki Ramakrishnan did was he found the atomic structure of the 30s unit, a small part of the there's a two molecules there. One molecule side is that is a 30, they call 30s unit, 30s unit. That is the atomic structure. You want to know where the calcium, hydrogen, potassium, phosphor, potassium, magnesium, all of them are where are they located at? Hydrogen or nitrogen, all of them are locations is very important. So that is the key. That is the that body what they want to eat is actually you found out the atomic structure. Why is it so important? Atomic structure. It revolutionized medicine. I tell you why. Because they used two methods for that to find out the atomic structure of the ribosome is the X-ray crystallography. What they do is they take the biological sample, they make it a crystal, and then shoot the X-rays inside, or sometimes the neutrons. Then the neutron scattering. You can use a neutron beam or X-ray beam. You can use both of them. Then find out the structure of the structure of the biological sample. They found out the ribosome structure. You make it a protein first, and then you shoot with the X-rays, and then shoot with the neutron, and then found out the atomic structure. What this atomic structure caused is that it created a very it's now because of that we found out the atomic structure. There's a new drugs were designed. Immunotherapy, one of the things we're going to talk about with the Dr. Reddy. He's an oncologist. The immunotherapy is another one. Radiation oncology, medical oncology is a part of the medical oncology. Immunotherapy is so. Immunotherapy, yes, actually, that is a he was giving a boost to the immunotherapy, in my view. Drug resistant infections like bacterial infections in the hospitals, he acquired neurological disorders. So they are taking the existing drugs like tetracyclines, redesigned and tetracyclines, aminoglycosides. They're all redesigning these targeted drugs after knowing the 30S ribosome structure because of the Venki Ramakrishnan. Okay, so it is really, it gave a boost to the immunotherapy on all the targeted drugs, designer drugs. The next one is Aragovinda Khurana. Is from birthplace is Rajapur, British India. By the way, I want to tell you one more thing about Venki Ramakrishnan. He is in England. That's why they call him Sir. He was knighted as a Sir, and then he is actually in the, he came to Canada, then came to the United States, then went to England to do the. Now he's a professor in England. So Aragovinda Khurana still is alive. That the Venki Ramakrishnan is still alive. Aragovinda Khurana, he was a British India. He was born in Rajapur, British India. He was the father of genetic engineering. He won the Nobel Prize in Medicine in 1968. I remember just that synthetic genes he produced in the lab. Synthetic genes. Think about that. What are the genes? He produced the oligonucleotides, single strand DNA, you synthesized in the lab, we produce a part of the DNA. You can actually take that strand, you can plug into the living organisms. It works beautifully well. So it's a kind of a CRISPR. He thought about CRISPR engineering a long time ago. CRISPR is now that a gene editing tool that we are talking about. That's why his name was mentioned quite a bit in the CRISPR invention. Jennifer Doudna, Emmanuel Charpentier, they won the Nobel Prize last year. So because of that, Aragovinda Khurana was mentioned several times. So he was a professor in MIT, and he died. He is no longer with us, but his contributions are, he won the Nobel Prize. The next one is Sir C.V. Raman. I'm going to play a video. Sir C.V. Raman won the Nobel Prize. He's a physicist, but he's not a doctor. But he's doing so much wonders to the medical field. You won't be surprised. So let me play the video and you watch it.
His name is Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman. He was born in Tiruchirappalli, state of Tamil Nadu, India. His name is long with numerous alphabets, but get used for it, because the next few decades belongs to this man. But get used for it, because the next few decades belongs to this man. He is descending from heavens to destroy cancer. Just not cancer, he is omnipresent in every field: science, medicine, technology, engineering, and even theology.
Let me try that again.
Tiruchirappalli, state of Tamil Nadu, India. His name is long with numerous alphabets, but get used for it, because the next few decades belongs to this man. He is descending from heavens.
Why is not playing? Okay, but anyway, I'm
used for it, because the next few decades belongs to this man.
Okay.
He is descending from heavens to destroy cancer. Just not cancer, he is omnipresent in every field: science, medicine, technology, engineering, and even theology. Welcome to the world of Raman gadgets. Raman probe. Point Raman probe to anyone and just click flash, just as you do on your
A
phone.
little bit of I'm having a.
His name is Chandrasekhara Venkata Raman. He was born in Tiruchirappalli, state of Tamil Nadu, India. Result, that person has a cancer or not. No elaborate testing, no other diagnostic testing required. Cancer detection in seconds.
Oh, my video. Yeah.
Raman Pan. Raman Pan, point and click at the finger and tell you the blood sugar levels instant. No more shedding of blood drops by millions of diabetic patients. Raman Scanner. Just place your hand gently on the Pharmanex Raman Scanner. It gives you the fruit and vegetable intake and in correlation with the antioxidant activity in your body. By monitoring antioxidant levels may help you to prevent some diseases. Raman Inspector. Raman Inspector, a handheld instrument, is an invaluable tool for law enforcement. Just point and click, it identifies the counterfeit drugs. Just point and click and can tell you it is a cocaine or any other illegal substance on the spot. No labs, no other testing required. Just point and click and can tell you right there if it is a hair gel or explosive material in the container without opening it. Raman Reporter. Just point and click and instantly tell you if that is a true Picasso or not. No other verification required. This is done deal. It is just taught. Raman optical tweezers, Raman microscope, Raman true narc, Raman imaging, Raman hyper, Raman transition. The list goes on. His name is truly omnipresent. This is not a science fiction. This is an extraordinary brilliance of a strikingly tall and dark handsome man from 19 or not. No other verification required. This is done deal. It is just taught.
But anyway,
Raman
I'm
optical
going to talk about
tweezers.
Raman because it looks like we are having a problem with the video. But Raman, what it is, Raman scattering is, Raman spectroscopy is that you can check. You cannot tell whether the apple is just rotten or not by without smelling, without cutting it. You cannot tell. So Raman spectroscopy is the only one. Raman spectroscopy is the only one you can tell without cutting it. Okay, that is the Raman spectroscopy. So it's a
By using a non-destructive method, cancer. At present, one of the most advanced methods of detecting cancer is through positron emission tomography, referred as a PET scan. This highly expensive and complicated equipment occupies 10,000 square foot office building or placed on 18 wheelers. The average cost for this procedure is around $4,000. Imagine exam that combines into a single scan the diagnostic imaging power of 10 PET studies, each measuring an essential dimension of cancer's aggressiveness, metastatic potential, and susceptibility to the radio and chemotherapy at the cost less than $25. Raman spectrometer, handheld Raman spectrometer can deliver that punch with a style. By attaching gold nanoparticles to the cancer cells, Raman spectrometer hunts every one of the cancer cells, identifies them, and kills them with a nano-heated guided missiles. Well-respected magazine Diagnostic Imaging describes Raman spectroscopy, a quantum physics technique puts all preceding medical imaging modalities to shame. Raman, the cancer avenger, descended from heavens
sorry about
to
that,
rescue
guys.
mortals.
Today
Santorio delle Peregrina, 13th century historical church, sitting near a beautiful Cantabrian mountains in
But I'm going to stop this anyway. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go back to my presentation. This video is giving problem, so I'm going to talk about presentation. So this Raman probe, actually, Raman was the church in the 13th century church. I was talking about it. What happened is you took the church and then you can. There is no pictures there, so you want to redesign. 13th century, say it was degraded with the architecture. What a Raman spectroscopy did is you take a picture and then atomic structure, vibrational, rotational spectrum, and then rebuild the church back to the original architecture. That's the greatness of the Raman spectroscopy. Raman neurosurgery that John Hopkins is doing right now, it's actually you can take the Raman probe and look inside the dead, the living versus dead. You can distinguish, particularly when you're doing the oncological surgeries. That's a great thing about the Raman spectroscopy. Raman PAN, that is Raman drug discovery, Raman signal. That's a special communication stimuli response. You can do the drug delivery. You can take a Raman signal, send the drugs and to the location, and then send your Raman signal, which is that, and blast off that medicines at the time. So you can control delivery of the drug through the Raman signal. It's a really out of the mind, the science fiction in my view is a reduced biopsies because of that. Raman spectroscopy is a non-invasive method. It's a very non-invasive. It is really a lot of research is going on. In the few years, you will see the power of the Raman spectroscopy. Power of Raman spectroscopy. So the next one is the Raman. Raman is this is another I added, but actually he found that Jesus is married or not. They found a scripture in 2,000 years old that they found it's mentioned that Jesus was married. That's a big thing for Christians. I'm not a Christian, so I don't know much about it. But that was they wanted to find out that really the document is 2,000 years old or not. That during the Jesus time is written. So it is actually, you can do that, the dating process through the Raman spectroscopy. They found out, yes, that is a 2000 years old. He doesn't know whether Jesus is married or not, but the document that mentioned Jesus was married was validated 2000 years old. That's what he did. NASA right now is NASA is called scanning habitable environmental with the Raman luminescence for organic chemicals. Is looking for the life on Mars right now. That is a Perseverance rover is looking for the biological sample there. The next one is Dr. Ronald Ross. He's a British origin, but he was born in India. He was born in Almore, Uttarakhand, and then he was the Malay. He was won the Nobel Prize 1902. A lot of people don't know this. He won the Nobel Prize in 1902 in malaria transmission. He recognized it through mosquitoes, transmission through birds and mosquitoes. So that's why he was awarded Nobel Prize in the so actually, there is a hospital in Assam. Labak Tea Hospital is Assam. There is a hospital there. It actually houses all his drawings and everything. You can go there and look at it. So Dr. Ronald Ross was Indian. He was born in India, and he was awarded a Nobel Prize in 1902. So there's only very few. Then in the medicine side, this name is Subramanian Chandrasekhar. He was born in Lahore, India. His father is from South, but he's from Lahore. He was born in Lahore because his father is a diplomat. So he was working in Pakistan area of the British India. Then he was born there, but he was not a Pakistani. So he became a very well-known professor in the United States in the University of Chicago. He was created a black holes. He gave a physics of the black holes, and a star becomes a black hole after reaching a certain mass. That's a threshold limit. If once the Chandrasekhar limit is called, the limit is the star collapses into a black hole. Once it becomes that, though it's a own gravity, it becomes a black hole. That's what he did. Chandrasekhar Subramanian invented that. He won the Nobel Prize in 1983. It's a physics Nobel Prize. Now NASA put a Chandra X-ray observatory in the NASA. That what they did was they took a NASA observatory. They put a X-ray lab. That the X-ray in the space. That Chandra X-ray put his name on it. Chandra. It's called Chandra. If you see 2000 movie is called Space Odyssey 2000 or something like that. I remember, but there is a Chandra. He speaks with the Chandra computer, in fact, named after him. So Subramaniam Chandrasekhar he was very well known, and he got the Nobel Prize. See, now the notable nominees I'm going to talk about, they did not win. His birthplace is Calcutta, India. Sachendranath Bose, his name. He was a Higgs boson. Boson Higgs was invented in the CERN laboratories in the Europe. Higgs boson, they call Higgs boson. Boson name came after him. Paul Dirac gave that name to the particle called Higgs boson. That's they call God's particle actually. Then he created a mathematics called Bose-Einstein statistics that created a new kind of matter, Bose-Einstein condensate. If you see solids, liquid, gas, plasma, there are 4 states. There is a 5th state of matter. It's a very strange name. It's called Bose-Einstein condensate. What it does is it has a phenomenal. It is a very strange. It won the Nobel 10. No, he didn't get the Nobel Prize, but Bose-Einstein condensate won the 10 Nobel Prizes related to the Bose-Einstein condensate. It is a godly kind of a thing. It is basically when you cool certain things to the absolute zero, it becomes a wave, and then they exhibit the properties of space invariance and the time invariance, all the places, all the times. So that's kind of a thing, very strange kind of a properties, a peculiars. It is everywhere. If you put a finger there, your finger is everywhere, all the places at the same time. It's a very strange, counterintuitive idea. That's a quantum state into the macro state. You can observe because of the Bose-Einstein. It was 75 years after that what he wrote the statistics. After that, Einstein gave his name to him. So they published it. Actually, Einstein did not do anything. Bose did the whole mathematics. They found out now Bose-Einstein condensate was 75 years ago. He wrote with a pen and pencil in a mathematics. After 75 years in the Colorado labs, they first created the Bose-Einstein condensate actual material. They won the Nobel Prize, three of them. But that is the phenomenal, that power of the mind. You see that you don't have to a lot of things. This next one is, he did not get the, he's also nominee, Jagadish Chandra Bose, birthplace is Dhaka, British India. He's a part of India at the time. He's a biophysicist, jute fiber, just, he's kind of inventor of semiconductors. He kind of did a lot of work with the semiconductors. Particularly, he did a little work on the radio waves. He detected the radio waves through iron fillings. So that's why he worked in the 60 millimeter wavelength area, that he was a coder. He created a equipment to recognize the radio waves. So that's why he was the father of the Wi-Fi, they say. Then plant communication, he was very big in plant communication. He was a strong proponent of, at that time. Think about it, beginning of 1900, late 1800, he understood the plants communicate each other. People did not believe that much at the time, but now fungi talking about mushrooms talking to each other, the fungi networks, the stress signals they send each other. If there is a lack of water or some other signals, they send each other. Now there is a evidence coming up that plants talk each other. So that is Jagadish Chandra Bose did that. That's a very, very outstanding work he did during the process. There's a notable mentions G. N. Ramachandran. He did a 40 protein folding. That's one of the things now going on. Ramachandran plot, it's called. At the beginning of those days, he created a graphical, without all these computers and everything. Ramachandran plot created a protein folding, the map of the protein folding. George Sudarshan, another physicist. Dr. Asha Pillai is a hematology oncologist doctor. She's a region on. Hello, Asha. She's my guest on my show. She is a very close to friends of all these people. Actually, her father used to work for Homi Baba, and the George Sudarshan she used to call uncle. So she knows all of these people. She came from physics family. She is a chief of the medicine in the Regeneron immunotherapy company in the United States. But I like to have her second time soon. George Sudarshan is a physicist. He invented the tachyons. Tachyons are that's kind of phantom particles that go faster than speed of light. Still, there is a debate about it, but he was one of the guys that is in the University of Texas, Austin. He died recently. He died. Homi Baba I got the job at the Baba Atomic Research Center. I didn't take the job. I made a mistake probably. So Homi Baba he invented a cosmic rays. Right now all the isotopes come from, a lot of isotopes are actually gave in the beginning days for the radiation oncology came from a Baba Atomic Research Center. He was the founder of the Baba Atomic Research Center. The next one is the field medals. These are mathematics. The Manjul Bhargav, that whom I met in a very strange case. I went to the Starbucks and I bumped into him. And then he's a Manjul Bhargav. He won the field medal. He's equivalent to he's a mathematics prize, equivalent to the Nobel Prize. Equivalent to Nobel Prize. In mathematics, Manjul Bhargav won is a number theory that he won it. Akshay Venkatesh is from Australia. He was born in Delhi. He won the Nobel Prize even the field medalist. He became a mathematician's top honor. Got both of them on that I want to mention, because mathematics is going to be the next century belongs to mathematicians. Trust me, because coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning, the immunotherapies, all these things when you're dealing with the cell structures, molecules, talking with a large data, huge, humongous data. You need a quantum computers. You need a mathematical equations. So the next century belongs to the mathematicians. That is what these two guys are giving a lot of mathematics to that. Bug of factorial cryptography and cybersecurity. He played the tabla. He got the idea from the tabla beats, that group theory that he came up. Manjul Bhargav, excellent guy. And he looks like a student. He was like I thought he's going to high school when I met him. He's in Princeton. He's a professor in Princeton right now. The second one, Akshay, is from Delhi. He was born in Delhi, but he's an Australian now. Is doing a lot of signal processing, cell communications. A lot of cancers. One of the thing is very mysterious thing is cell communication is the biggest thing. 3D reconstruction. He was giving a mathematical background to all those things, computational biology. The next one. So Nobel Prizes India, United States is 391. Is all the way to the top. There is not even come close. Anybody come close to that digits? The next to United Kingdom 134, Germany 111, and all the way to Denmark 16. India is the 18th rank. It's just four. We have four. We never had a these. I mean, they're all left India and they got the Nobel Prize in other countries. Only C.V. Raman, the last person, got the Nobel Prize in India while he was in India. It's a very and a really sad story that we need to really give a lot of research. We need to do that. We have to go back to the. But the gentleman is from my hometown, Bhimavaram, who really deserves four Nobel Prizes. His name is same as my father's name. He is from my hometown. Nobody knows in India. Can you believe that? Even Telugu people may not know him. His name is Dr. Yellaprakada Subbarao. He's an unsung hero of medicine. I tell you what he did. He came to Harvard 1923. He came to Harvard. First chemotherapy drug he invented is a methotrexate. He was the inventor of the methotrexate. Okay, that he invented he saved 1940s. He saved numerous children through his chemotherapy targeted drug. Then he invented the strip test, phosphorus strip test, invented it. Phosphorus is the second biggest mineral in our human body. They give a strip test that he invented it. River blindness, heterozoon tablets, a lot of eosinophilic lungs and all those things, eosinophilia are treated by heterozoon tablets. Is a very topical diseases, you can treat them. Is a World Health Organization essential drug even now. So he was working for a lab here in the United States. He died in the United States in the Pearl River, New York, but 1948 he died. The first broad spectrum antibiotic, aureomycin, he created aureomycin. This man when he died, he was 53 years old. Deserves every Nobel Prize on all four levels. He got none. Very strange. It's a sad story of a remarkable man from my hometown. I went. I walked in the same streets as he is. He died in 1948. I was not even born, but it is a sad story of one of the remarkable man. When he died, the New York Tribune said that one of the most eminent medical minds of the century, Dr. Yellaprakada Subbarao, said. They said that Dr. Subbarao is a Dr. Reddy is also a Telugu guy like me. We're all Telugu people. We all speak same language, regional language, Telugu. So Dr. Yellaprakada Subbarao is one of the most eminent medical minds of the century. In fact, Asha Pillai was telling me she's writing a book about him. Actually, she's the chief of medicine chief oncologist in the region. She was telling how good he was. I'm getting emotional. That he said that Jewish advocate, because at the time nobody knows this biochemistry or all these things, they didn't understand. So science is still problem, science communication in this country. That's why I started this channel. Because he lived longer. Jewish advocate said that about Yellaprakada Subbarao. He won the Indian Padma Vibhushan Award, highest honor civilian award in India, and then he's also elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. He is a truly remarkable human being. Did not win the Nobel Prize. He should have won. But I met two of my own, Nobel Prize winners, such as Satyatri Kailash Satyatri. I met him recently when he came to the United States. He's a very nice guy. He's doing a lot of children work. That's why I mentioned the name. He's doing a lot of children's work now. And then another one that I met is Roger Penrose from England. He won the Nobel Prize in last 2 years ago. He won the Nobel Prize. So during the pandemic, he won the Nobel Prize. Two of them are my heroes. So I may not be. These are all the life experiences. I had a tremendous experience of all these people. Then meeting these kind of a Nobel laureates is a privilege. Thank you for all joining us, and let me bring back Dr. Reddy back to the stage. Sorry about the technical difficulties, Dr. Reddy. What do you think of it? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. It's okay, sir.
Yeah.
I had the technical disturbances were uh, not so long, and they're insignificant. Thank you for the
Yeah,
brief.
Yeah.
Very much of the time people don't associate science much to Indians, but if you take part, if you just revise the history, most of the science actually started from India.
Yeah.
And most likely the reason for science not being very popular in India is not because that we don't have any logical or critical thinking, because we are struggled mostly in our day to day activities, rather than science as a stream didn't gain that kind of recognition in our country. Once it gains, I think it's we Indians are more we Indians can generate more ideas and implement them more
Yeah, I
easily when.
agree. I agree with you on that one. We need to do that, because the reason is science doesn't need basic sciences. We need to reproduce that science. Science. We went too much gung-ho on the technology. Technology is good, but it's not without science. Technology is like a naked emperor. It's a naked.
Technology is a byproduct of science, because as you mentioned previously, ribosomal discovery has led to discovery of COVID vaccines, because
Correct.
COVID vaccine actually is an mRNA vaccine.
Yes.
Ribosomal discovery has led to introduction of all these kind of, in multiple myeloma we use different kind of proteasome inhibitors which actually act on 30s ribosomes and ribosomal which inhibitors. So it's a ribosomal activity, ribosomal structure, that has actually led to all these things. But we Indians and Indian politicians are populist, so it's hard trying to convince them
Yeah.
that science right now will reap benefits 20 years later. It's difficult to convince, but
Yeah, it's difficult to
we are
understand.
changing.
This is a
We are
science. We lost things in the quantum computers, for example. We are behind everybody. Now that is the science. You leave the science. Is dangerous to science. It's danger to the world, the security of a
yeah,
country.
yeah.
Is science is a fundamental research that you do. Let us talk about a little bit about your background. Dr. Reddy, what do you think India needs the cancer side to treat large number? As you're saying that now young people are getting more and more cancer in India. This going to be explosion. If they get a little bit older, it's going to be explosion of cancers in India. What are you going to how the country is going to deal with it?
we I'm not sure if I can comment on how the country is going to deal with it. I
Yeah,
think that it would be, for me,
one of
it's
the
an
challenging
exaggeration.
issues, right?
Issues. I would not like to talk about how the country is going. I'm going to talk what we have to do, or what individually people have to do for.
Okay, go ahead, tell me
So
what
I
you
think
think.
I think right now the treatment related. I want to first thing I want to do is to decrease the time of referral. So I want to decrease the time when the patient gets diagnosed of cancer, and the time between the diagnosis and treatment, that should be reduced considerably. I think that we can reduce it more than 50% with the current things that are happening in our country with simple measures. This is the
You
first
made an
thing.
excellent point. You decrease
This
the
is the
time of the diagnosis for the part of the recognizing. And what
yeah.
about the screening parts? Are the government helping you if you want to do, so, say, mammograms, or if you want to do any colonoscopy screenings? Do they help you? Is there any programs available that you like to do in the mobile units? The helps that kind of screening
Uh,
test.
to be very frank, it's not the problem with the availability of the machines or availability of the things. It most likely the problem with convictions, commitment, and practical application of the technology is where our country is lacking. Like, we have mammography machines, we have mobile units. The problem is, for example, I conducted a camp in a village. We had a very big machine, but we couldn't adjust the power settings in the village. So you got my point. Yeah,
Well,
the point
it's a
is, point is,
very
yeah,
yeah. With the lack of infrastructure, there's no power settings. It doesn't
the power
work.
setting. I can bring a machine which is worth 1 crore to a village, but without a current supply over there, that's useless. So what we are facing, what the problem we are facing as Indians is, it's not the lack of programs, it's not the lack of thing, it's a lack of commitment in terms of in the government. And the thing is, it's a lack of practical adaptation of these technologies to the scenarios that are present in the country. Like, for example, For example, for cervical cancer, taking a pap smear is easy, right? It's a simple test. But imagine for a village woman, I'll go and ask them to give pap smear. It is very difficult to convince them to give a pap smear because that's a very private procedure.
But would you do the woman doctors in that village to give up, educate them and
Yeah.
actually
So
participate? That what is,
that's where the commitment part comes in. You just can't go one day and ask them to give pap smears. You need to follow it up. You need to go at least 1 month. Don't you just
the
can't rush
local
to
people
them.
are to be participated, right? Local, I
Yeah,
mean, that's where really we need to spend
yeah,
time. This is the one thing people don't understand it is that the rural villages, that's the problems. Americans don't understand it. In a Western world, you're brought up in a Western world. Even the people in Hyderabad, big cities, don't understand it.
don't
So when you go
understand.
to the
You-
villages, this is a really the meets the
yeah,
catch there.
you just can't barge into a village and ask them to ask them to give a cervical smear, or even you can't just say examine your breast. Uh, that's a very embarrassing thing to women, and they most of the time they get offended, and you can't get offended because they are getting offended if
Yeah,
you
but
have the commitment.
people like your wife should be actively participate that kind of things
Yes.
and do that campaigns and create a program that has to be done because that is creates a problem that creates solutions. You know what you're doing is slowly doing you're thinking in that problem, you're identifying the problem. Thank you, Dr. Reddy. You know you're doing a great thinking about how to reach that poor neighborhoods, villages. That is really thinking should start from there, and you're doing that. So truly honored and privileged to talk with you. Thank you so much for joining our podcast.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Anything you want to say? Final words.
Yeah. uh,
So tell us, Gautham Reddy, how they reach you if they want to reach you and talk with you.
so I'm available in LinkedIn, and I will be sharing my mail ID
Okay.
uh, to Ramana sir. Thank you for the opportunity. As I told, what's lacking in our country is not the technology right now. It's more commitment and practical adaptability of the technology. So Cancer Shield I have started along with my wife as in response to identifying these gaps in cancer care. What my aim is, I'm not a great oncologist, to be very frank. I'm not a great oncologist. I am not so experienced I don't want to boost myself. What are my targets? Simple: practical adaptability of the treatments, and commitment to the care, and reduce treatment related toxicity. I'm very pro that. I don't want any person dying of cancer treatment. The patient
You
can
know,
die of cancer. That's a different issue which the world is trying to solve. In my country, I don't want my patients to die of cancer related toxicity. With these simple goals, I have started Cancer Shield.
that
And
is a
I
more
don't
than is a
yeah,
noble cause.
I don't want to target on giving better treatment or wonderful treatment. I want to give them optimal treatment so that they don't their treatment doesn't cause much harm to them. I want to support these patients who are undergoing treatments in as many ways as possible, and I don't want people to lose jobs because of cancer diagnosis
You
or
know, we
cancer
don't need
treatment.
a Harvard doctors and Stanford doctors to treat patients in a small village in Nalgonda. You know, we need people who understand the practical problems. Go to the taxes, go to the meet people in that villages. That is the people like you are the better delivery of the care than all these doctors and high level doctors can do. You know, those are all rare diseases they can address. I agree with you 100%. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Dr.
very much,
Reddy.
sir. Thanks
And
for
I
the
will share your
opportunity.
profiles, and then
Yeah.
your video will be replayed, and I will edit some problems we had. I'm going to edit that, and then we'll talk about that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a great opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Right.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating Unsung Heroes of the Past, who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine. Through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine, you can wear it, carry it, and give it.